We are social. We are Solavei, and we're right now broadcasting across the United States to Solavei Social. Tonight we've got some good friends that are actually here live. You can actually see them. They're a great representation to literally the hundreds of socials that are taking place across the country right now. Today we, in fact, as we were communicating with some of the members and the socials that they're having across the country, we know tonight that we're in a lot of homes across the country. We have actually here on the West Coast. We've been told there's actually office socials happening here on the West Coast, all up and down. People still at their offices. I know on the East Coast we've heard word there's some restaurants, some bars that are doing socials tonight. But anyway, hundreds of socials taking place across the country with thousands of our Solavei members, and like we have right in front of us right now, a lot of people, a lot of guests, a lot of friends, a lot of family seeing Solavei for the very first time, and really seeing why Solavei has become a social commerce revolution, fastest growing mobile service provider in the United States right now. And it's really all because our members are the voice of Solavei and really changing how things are done, but based on what we already do every single day. So over the course of the next few minutes, I look forward to being able to share with you Solavei. Just real quick, so you know who I am. I'm Ryan Wuerch. I'm the founder and CEO of Solavei. The vision of this company happened in October of 2011, and I'll never forget. I've been in the technology telecommunications industry now for, gosh, almost 2 decades now. My last company, I grew from an idea to over $1 billion in value. I retired from that, and it was October of 2011 that I had the vision for this company. And it's so amazing to see how much has happened since that time. How many now? Literally tens of thousands, well over 160,000 members in just the last 7.5 months that are part of Solavei, all because a few people grabbed hold of the vision of this company. Individuals that came from multi-billion-dollar companies in technology, telecommunications, financial services. When I had the vision for this company, they said, listen, we want to be a part of this and doing what has never been done before. It wasn't just those individuals, but it happened to be a few individuals that said, you know what, we want to be members and actually be the voice of this, and that is now spread across the United States, just like what's happening tonight at the social that you're a part of. It's because somebody saw the vision for this company and said, you know what, this one is for me. And so what I'd like to do is here over the next few minutes share with you why this has become such an amazing movement across the country. And I'd like to real fast be able just to give a shout out to a couple of our members that we have this happening. Thousands upon thousands of our members are sharing on Facebook, they're sharing on Twitter. Norm Fargo, you're so incredibly faithful in tweeting about Solavei. Charles Hamilton, you're always on Facebook. You're always talking about Solavei, the benefits of Solavei. Thank you for being such a great voice for our company. I frankly like to call you ambassadors for the company because of how much you do. Well, here over the next few minutes, we're going to be real social. That's how we've built our company. It's all based on people. And so here's what I'd like you to do. We're going to give away one of the Solavei Get In, Get Social, Get Free shirts. And here's what I'd like you to do: is get out your phone, get on your computer, go to Twitter, and here's what I'd like you to tweet hashtag Solavei Socials. And what I'd like you to do is tell us what is the most unique place that you have shared Solavei with someone else. Okay, so tweet hashtag Solavei Socials and tweet where's the most unique place that you have shared Solavei. And we'll give away one of the shirts randomly here at the end of this broadcast. But let's go over to St. Louis, Missouri. I was just there a couple of weeks ago, and I got to tell you, they are absolutely crazy in St. Louis, Missouri. And what an incredible group of people, and I feel so fortunate that I had the opportunity to be with so many of them that were there, packed house several weeks ago. But tonight we have Connie Houlihan and Scott and Coach Redmond that are there, a room full of people. Connie, where are you?
I'm right here.
Hey, Connie.
Hi.
Good to have you part of this night. Now, where are you right now? I see you got a packed room.
We are at one of our members' beautiful homes, Scott and Joan Resch.
Oh, that's great. Where's Scott?
They're way in the back.
Way back
I
there.
can't see you back there, Scott, but wow, quite a room.
Yes, this is their dining room.
Now that's the way that I like to eat, right there.
Next time you're in St. Louis, we'll have you over.
That is consider that to be a date. That's so great. So Connie, I know you've got also Coach Redmond. There, yes, I can see the top of your head.
It's mop and glow, Ryan.
I love it. I love it. You know what, Coach? It's always so good to see you. And you know, I go back, you know, to when I founded the company. I said, you know, we're going to found this company, you know, very different than where I'd been in the past. In the previous companies where I had successful exits, it was always about the business principles, about technology, about market and customer penetration. In the beginning of Solavei, I said, you know, we're going to found this company on core values, and there's a couple of those values that we all talk about a lot inside Solavei. They're foundational to what we do. One, I said, I want to do business with people I like, love, and trust. And you know what? This is a great example of this. I get to check that box every single day because I get to wake up every morning, throughout my day, get to interact with, at the end of the day when I go to bed at night, I'm able to know that I have the most incredible people, our members, those who I work alongside with here in our corporate offices, that I like, love, and trust. And you know, it's a great example when I see that room full right there, Connie, Coach, Scott, and I want to thank you guys so much for being a part of this. And so tell us, maybe introduce a couple of people. I know you have some friends of yours that are there tonight that are seeing Solavei for the first time. Do you mind, Connie, maybe just introducing a couple of people there?
Yes, this is my good friend Jason.
Hey, Jason. Glad you're here.
And we have John. We have 9 guests, but these guys are really excited about this company.
That is great. So I hope you don't mind. So Jason, Aaron, I'm gonna probably use you throughout the course of this tonight. Just don't get alarmed. You know, there's thousands of people watching you tonight. So but I'm gonna use you somewhat as a representation, as so many of the members, by the thousands every single day, are seeing Solavei. And I'm going to go ahead and just interact with you a little bit, if you don't mind, throughout the course of the social here over the next few minutes. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I told you who I am and really how we all came together, even tonight. But the reality, here's where I was. In the fall of 2011, I started seeing a lot of the core trends that were happening on a global basis. And you know, where I was over the previous 10 years was seeing, from building large technology infrastructure for some of the largest mobile operators in the world. Also at the same time, seeing a lot of the trends that were actually shifting behaviors for consumers. And what I saw in the fall of 2011, and it's not dissimilar. In fact, if anything, it's actually accelerated today in the North American market. The very first trend that I saw, that we all think about daily is the economy. I don't care how much money you have or how little you have. There's something that galvanizes all of us. There's a common thread that weaves through each and every one of us, and that's money. Somewhere during our day we're thinking about it. But here's the reality. The economy today is in worse condition since the Great Depression. In fact, if you look at just, you know, most late statistics that's come out, that 50% of the United States average income for the household is less than $45,000 a year. You look at another trend that I saw happening. I think it's done nothing but accelerate since 2011, and that's social media. Change the way we act, the way we interact, the way we take in information, the way we share information. You know, I get confounded every day when I look at the thousands upon thousands upon thousands of friends that I'm now socially connected to. And in fact, I had someone here from another country this morning, an executive, and we were talking about this, about who would have thought that we would share some of the pictures, so some of the information that we share, as readily as we do without even thinking about it now. Now, behaviorally, 5 years ago, if you would have said, here's a picture of me or my family or something I'm doing, here we are on the beach, and we're just naturally going to put it out there for everybody to see. You know, we would actually probably give our head a shake and said that's never going to happen. And now it's just actually commonplace because we've had a behavioral shift on how we actually interact and share information. Social networks have definitely done that. The third trend that I saw happening was that of mobile. And you know, this industry is something I've been around for a long time, built large companies, and you know, this little device has changed how we focus on other people, because it's all about communication. We can't live without this. You know, if you think about the events of the course of the last couple of weeks and the things that have happened, and how much these devices have proved to be such an asset and such a benefit to individuals' lives and how they communicate and how they interact. We can't live without this on a daily basis. 300 million mobile phone users in the United States today, 5 billion around the world. Average cell phone bill in the country is $71. We now consider it to be a primary utility on our monthly budgets. The fourth trend I saw was really that of, and I'll underpin this with more of the advertising industry and the shift that we began seeing over the course of the last 4, 5, 6 years, where individuals and large corporations have been seeing a need to actually shift advertising dollars and how they're being utilized. And frankly, if you think about companies like Amazon and Groupon using referral marketing and affiliate marketing today, if you look at the direct sales industry today and how they're $10 billion companies like Avon and others, how they're using more of a person-to-person type of interaction and how they move goods and services. But really, the advertising industry, $140 billion industry, something that we're all a part of today. You know, every day we wake up, we're part of 3,000 plus messages, imprints that are hitting us daily from large goods and services providers trying to get a message across. But the problem is the ROI is not there like it used to be. In fact, Nielsen, one of the largest research firms in the world, came out with some data and a large research report very recently that said 47% of people actually trust mass media advertising, so television, radio, billboards, print. And what that really said to me is, though, that 53% of people don't trust it. That means of the $140 billion that was being spent, over $70 billion was wasted and not even being wanted. Now, you look at the same research report that said 97% of people, though, actually trust when a friend makes a recommendation to them, an individual, you and I, actually embrace it, whether it's our doctor, whether it's a restaurant, or some other good or service that somebody recommends us to. But ultimately, in the fall of 2011, I saw those four trends converging to create the opportunity today that we call Solavei. And here's what happened. We created a platform and had a vision around creating a platform that would ultimately fully leverage the social graph. Take all the social commerce companies, social networking companies such as Facebook and Google Plus and LinkedIn and Pinterest and Twitter. Take all of those and enable individuals who have person-to-person relationship to actually get recurring benefit because of those networks and the connectivity they had. We founded the company with a mission. The mission is this: to make commerce less expensive, but yet profitable. Let me go to the first part of that. The making commerce less expensive. So if you think about today, Costco as an example, and that happens to be a local company here in Seattle. And by the way, it is an amazing, amazing day here in Seattle, Washington, where we're overlooking Lake Washington, our building here, and it is clear skies, the Olympic Mountains, overlooking Lake Washington. It is just an amazing view here today, and I know many of you are experiencing the same thing across the country. But Costco happens to be a company that's headquartered here, and Sinegal and Brotman, the founders of the company, had a simple idea. It was this: let's take millions of members, and let's take the collective buying power of those millions of members to drive price down in bulk to goods and service providers, and then pass along those savings to our members. Now, we're doing the exact same thing, to take the primary things that our members use every day and drive price down, making commerce less expensive. Number two, we're going one step further than that, is making it profitable by doing this, by taking the billions of dollars that's being spent on advertising today and saying, you know what, there's a better way to spend that. Why don't we take those billions of dollars that's typically spent in advertising and pay that to the greatest advertising voice in the world known to man today, and that's people. And we built a platform, the first of its kind, the very first social commerce platform that does four things. Number one, it enables our members to pay less for goods and services. Number two, it enables our members to pay less for goods and services that they're already using every single day. It's already a part of the share of wallet you have on a monthly basis. Number three, enabling our members to be connected through a natural community, natural connectivity through a network. And number four, enabling our members to earn income when they do what they do already naturally every single day, when they like something of value, of quality, they share it with those that are closest to them. And in this process, we have created the very first social commerce platform that's creating incredible market momentum because we began with a device, we began with the utility, we began with the service that everyone already uses. 300 million mobile phone users in the United States. We began with mobile. In fact, when we created the platform, we had some of the largest mobile operators in the United States vigorously competing to be the exclusive network provider for our platform and, frankly, for our company. We ultimately chose T-Mobile's 4G nationwide network is where Solavei Social Commerce Platform is directly integrated into the top-tier network of T-Mobile. And some of the reasons why we began with mobile first is one, is it creates an economic conduit. Because you're already spending money monthly every single month on your mobile phone bill. And here's what's interesting. You realize that over 80% of mobile phone users today in the United States are actually paying more than $50 a month. That's over 240 million people. There's 26 million iPhone users in the United States today that are spending more than $100 a month. In fact, I don't know about you, and when you go around the table, this is what I'd love to do on a daily basis. When I always ask somebody the question, do you have a mobile phone? Everyone always says yes, and I say, how much do you currently pay? Almost every single time. In fact, I was sitting down in a meeting on Tuesday of this past week, and I asked a couple people that are in front of me. They said, what kind of company you with? I told them, and I said, how much are you paying monthly? Both people. One is spending $85 a month. The other one is spending $120 a month. It's always an easy conversation. I personally, I carry the iPhone 5, and prior to Solavei, I was spending over $130 a month. Now with Solavei, all I had to do was put a Solavei SIM card in my iPhone, and I'm now paying $49 a month unlimited text, data, voice, 4G nationwide. So first of all, the first thing it does, it creates an economic conduit between us and our members, between our members and each other. The second thing it does, which to me is even the most important, is it creates a communication conduit. And why the communication conduit is important is this. It enables us to now take the collective strength that we all have together. You look at our tagline, which is powered by relationships, and that's what this is. It's the power of our relationships together that now enables us to communicate to all of our relationships the other goods and services that Solavei brings to the market. I mean, think about Amazon. Amazon at the beginning, and one of our top investors, key investors in our company, is a very good friend of mine, is one of the senior executives of Amazon, and we had this conversation many times about Amazon. Many people thought when Jeff Bezos founded that company that he actually created a book company that happened to be distributing books through the internet. No. What did he create? He actually created a distribution platform that happened to start with books. We've done the exact same thing. We have created a social commerce platform, social commerce company, beginning with mobile, then to be able to use the collective power of the relationships that we have to drive down price at the other primary items that you use every single day in your home. You will eventually see Solavei Cable, you're going to see Solavei Energy, you're going to see Solavei Financial Services, but what I'm really, really excited about is what we announced a couple months ago, and in fact, which will be launching this summer, is Solavei Retail. The very places you go every day right now, the largest brands, we've already announced some of them like Starbucks and Burger King and Safeway and Walmart and Sam's, just to name a few, where you're going to be able to now get more value because you're a Solavei member. More importantly, those brands, because they don't have to spend the advertising dollars to get Solavei members there, they're passing along that benefit where they would typically spend millions and tens of millions and hundreds of millions and billions of dollars to try to get consumers to their brands. Will be paying back to Solavei 2 to 12% of each dollar, and we paid back to the Solavei, of which 50 cents of every single dollar we pay through the compensation plan to our members. And we have a big event coming up this coming weekend in Orlando, Florida. It's a Revolution Regional, and I was in a meeting today here in the office, and the head of this area that's launching, he literally could hardly contain himself. He's so excited, and he's saying, Ryan, I have so much that I want to be able to share this coming weekend. I said, well, you can't. But what we're going to do is we're going to give the next picture of what's about to happen, and it's going to be real exciting when we share some of the news that we're going to be sharing this weekend in Orlando, Florida. For those that are there, I'm so excited to be with so many of you that are going to be with us at that event. But that's the reason we started with mobile. Is yes, it's $49 a month, unlimited text, data, voice, 4G nationwide, but that's only beginning. What that's doing is creating a direct linkage for everything else that's going to be coming with Solavei without you having to change any of the behaviors or any of the things you do typically. And here's what I encourage you to do. I can spend a lot of time telling you about, the $49 a month, and I believe we have the most unrivaled text, data, voice offering that's out there. What I do know is that there's not another mobile operator in North America that is providing the benefits that we are, where every 3 people, which we call a trio, we're going to pay you $20 a month for every 3 people that enroll in Solavei because of you. And what's great about mobile is it's something that once you're doing it and using it, it's something that you're on for many, many years. In fact, I was with AT&T for, gosh, almost 20 years before I switched to Solavei. That's the stickiness of this and why we love to see so many people get involved with Solavei. But what we've done is we've made this incredibly simple. We've embraced technology and all the technology has to offer. All the complexity of it, we say, is behind the wall. All the simplicity of it for our members is in front of it. And here's what we did. We combined social sharing, we combined social media, and we combined mobile, frankly, to redefine commerce as we know it today by simply taking an offer that everyone can say, listen, just the offer by itself. And this is what I love. We have tens of thousands of members part of Solavei that are just here because they like the $49 a month, unlimited text, data, voice, 4G nationwide. They like the culture. They like the value system that Solavei stands for. Very, very different than the typical mobile operator that they've already been with over the years past. But then we took all the things that we're already connected to, the social networks that we're already embedded with, and we built a platform to sit squarely in the center of them. To now take great value, great quality, great offer, take all the natural relationships that you already have, either through the social networks or many of you, it's just physically. You have great relationships with 10, 20, 30, 50 people. You're running into people every day. And we created a platform to actually bridge these two together to when you naturally share Solavei with others, you're the one that gets paid. You're the one that gets rewarded. And I love it just being able to look there with Connie and Scott and Coach and everyone else that's there. There's great examples of how Solavei is already benefiting and already rewarding because of someone saw Solavei and said yes to $49 a month, unlimited text, data, voice, 4G nationwide. So so how's it gone? This is what's so amazing. We launched the company on September 21st live, and without any billboard, without any television ad, without any radio spots going across the country. We've gone from a starting point in September 21st of our launch to now well over 160,000 members across the United States in every single state, thousands upon thousands across Puerto Rico, and it is growing by leaps and bounds every single day. Every single morning I wake up, the number's bigger. Every night when I go to bed, the number is bigger, and it's because our members have created really a viral effect of sharing Solavei with others. And if you think about how easy this is, it's as simple as Jason, that you might see with your Facebook wall one day. You see maybe one of the Solavei Facebook graphics that I put up on Facebook, let's say. And I got it directly out of the platform. All I had to do was click share. When I saw the graphic, and immediately posted it on my Facebook wall. You saw it, and it said $49 a month, unlimited text, data, voice, 4G nationwide, share and earn, get it for free. Well, your possible response may be $49. How do I get it for free? And who's this Solavei? I've never seen a retail store. I've not seen any television ads. And what I'm going to tell you is, well, you're not going to. Because here's what I saw in 2011. I saw the largest mobile operators in the United States spend over $12 billion annually in advertising, sales, and marketing, trying basically to get to 300 million mobile phone users back and forth from each other. And ultimately said, you know what, there's a better way. What if we took just $1, $2, $3 billion that's already being spent, that's already in the system, and what if we move that to the greatest advertising voice is people? How many lives could you positively impact? And Larry, would you mind get for me that one story that I talked to you guys about today, and internally, if you don't mind, maybe grabbing that for me. Sorry, that was just an aside. but that's how we roll here. So that's what I love about live socials across the country. But ultimately, you see it, and I tell you about it, and I say, you know what? And taking those dollars, and the example here is if I happen to share Solavei, let's say over the course of 60 days, 90 days, 120 days, whatever, and I share it with 6 people, and that's what we call 2 trios. The company's going to be paying me $40 a month. So my bill, my $49 a month that I had been paying every single month is now only costing me $9 a month. That made a difference in my household. I don't care how much money you have or how little you have. Every one of us behaviorally likes to save money if we can. Well, you have a level of interest with it. But here's where we took it even further. We built all this into a platform that enables you to do what you do naturally, is you stay connected with people. That's how social networks have grown the way they have. We built My Solavei, and I'm proud to say that over 80% of our active members are daily going into My Solavei, and here's what's happening inside of that. You're able to see the community of everyone that's a part of Solavei and all the interactivity that's happening. You're seeing the shout-outs from people that are doing great things in Solavei. But also inside of My Solavei is where you're going and seeing how your network is growing. And let's say that, Jason, 2 months ago, Connie introduced Solavei to you. You liked the $49 a month unlimited text, data, voice, 4G nationwide. Maybe that was it. You just liked that. But you got it, and you just naturally told some friends about it. You went into the Solavei platform. You shared some of the things on Facebook and Twitter, and maybe some emails went out with some commercials. But 6 of your friends, they too like the $49 a month unlimited. And that's the beautiful part about this is, remember, over 80% of the population of the United States, or of mobile phone users, over 240 million people, are spending more than $50 a month. So you've already got something that's going to land and probably benefit everyone you talk to. Well, 6 of your friends, they start using Solavei as well. Well, 2 months goes by, you're just using your phone like you normally do, but every single day you love going into My Solavei, looking at the dashboard, because those 6 people did what? Probably what you did. They're probably sharing with others. Just as you saw your Facebook friends grow, just your Twitter followers grow, the same thing happens here, but here is the difference, key difference. Remember that economic conduit that I talked to you about earlier? Now you've got this economic conduit that every time someone does this, it's actually creating commerce. It's actually creating benefit for you. And what we built also inside of the platform was a complete notification engine. Again, doing this for you to make it very natural that when Amy Carney, one of your friends that you introduced Solavei to as an example, you get this little message that pops up in the middle of your phone while you're sitting at lunch one day, totally not thinking about Solavei. You're just talking to your friend over lunch one day, and a little notification pops up and says, Amy Carney just got free. What does that mean? Well, that means Amy Carney, your friend that you shared Solavei with, just got 3 trios, which means she's now got free monthly mobile service. Well, that makes you feel good because you were the conduit of that. You're the reason that she's now getting that benefit. And all you do is you hit the send congrats button in the middle of your phone, and it launches a message into the Solavei feed. It says, congratulations, Amy, on getting free mobile service for getting 3 trios. But it doesn't just launch it there. It goes into Facebook, goes into Twitter, and here now on Facebook and Twitter is this message out for all the hundreds or maybe thousands of people that are connected to your network to see that says, congratulations, Amy, on getting free mobile service for getting 3 trios. What happens next? Next 10 minutes, 11 friends say, how did you get free mobile service? This is again where we again made it easy and very, very simple for you to go directly into our outreach management platform. Go in there and press share, one of the social graphics that we have literally, since we launched the company, hundreds of, that you can share on Facebook, you can share on Twitter, that you can take and put in your friends' email addresses and just click one of the social commercials, 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 6 minute social commercials, incredibly well done, and let it do the sharing for you. Because that's one of the things that I started philosophically. I said, I don't want this to be about selling, I want this to be about sharing. Because every one of us can share something that we like. Very few of us like to have to sell something on a daily basis. And also built inside of here is a complete contact tracking system that in fact shows you every time one of those friends of yours has clicked on one of the emails, clicked on one of the graphics, that have in fact signed into a guest book, because when they do, it's ultimately leading to the place that we have created an entire experience around you. You have become now the Verizon store, the Amazon, or the or the Walmart, we've created an entire experience around you that when somebody clicks on this www.solavei.com/Jason and they click on it, it's coming into a customized branded site that's all about you. It's you. That when that person comes through the enrollment process, because they too want the $49 a month, unlimited text, data, voice, 4G nationwide, you're the one getting the credit for it. And as you think about, AT&T and Verizon today, with collectively between the two of them, they have about 7,000 retail stores across the United States. Do you realize today we have over 160,000 individual distribution points across the United States that has got one of the greatest voices? And why they have one of the greatest voices is because of this. The people that they talk to, people you talk to, trust them. Have a relationship with them. And there's nothing more powerful than that across the United States. And that's how we've empowered our members to become this moving force across the United States for positive change. When somebody comes into Solavei, we call it you're welcome, and you're invited and you're embraced. Our arms wrapped around you and being a part of the Solavei community. And it's all about relationship to us. And it's all about you being able to see positive benefit, whether it's just because you wanted $49 a month unlimited mobile service, or it's because you really want to be a point of sharing Solavei with others. The great thing for us is you said yes. How do you get involved? Well, when you get involved, and how do you get activated service? Well, this little SIM card is where it all begins. And if you sign in online, within a couple of days, you're going to get your Solavei SIM card, the welcome package, and all the information to get started. But I'm proud to say now that over 80% of our activations are in fact happening because Solavei members are all carrying 10, 20 Solavei SIM cards with them. So when they're at a friend's house, or they're at a Starbucks, or they're sitting next to them in a cubicle at the office, and that friend enrolls online with Solavei, they can be right there to be able to take that Solavei SIM card and put it directly in their phone and immediately see them, one, becoming a part of the Solavei family, but two, being able to get great value and great benefit by being a part of Solavei. The next thing, though, is where there's a lot of excitement and enthusiasm around the payment mechanism with Solavei, because within 1 week of you enrolling in Solavei, it takes you less than 6 minutes to enroll into Solavei. Get your mobile phone, getting embedded into the social community of Solavei, and also getting your Solavei Visa Bank of America debit card, which is Visa debit card, which is now been affirmatively called the Solavei Purple Pay Card. And this is where all the earnings, and I'll just give you a number, over $8 million just in the last few months has been paid to Solavei members across the United States for sharing Solavei. This is where every single month, as your network continues to grow, we're going to place the earnings directly on this pay card. You can use it to write checks on it. You can get it anywhere, get cash out, ATMs, anywhere Visa's accepted, you can use it. And it's amazing the stories we have come in every single day by the hundreds of how Solavei's Purple Pay Card is creating benefit. Because it's not, to me, this isn't about money. To me, this is about what money can do to help positively impact people's lives. And what's so great about this is the vision that I had from day one is that there'll someday be billions of dollars sitting on these Purple Pay Cards all across the United States and around the world, that when our members go and use it, and this is why the social commerce platform is so important, that you go and use it, and you go and use it at the very places you're already going, the very goods and services companies that you're already shopping from. And because you're a part of Solavei, and those goods and services providers are partners of Solavei, you're going to get better value. And not only that, you're going to be able to earn income because of how your network over time has grown. So Jason, you may have introduced it to a few people. Over a couple of months, maybe that grew to 80 people, and so you're getting $150, $200 a month just naturally. Well, now it's sitting on your account. Now how do we make those dollars go even further for you? That's how we think inside of Solavei, because we've created this virtuous cycle of activity that when somebody's a part of Solavei, that mobile service that you begin with is only the beginning. So, the question I always ask, it goes all the way back to when we did the original focus groups in some of the leading universities across the country. I'll never forget that question I asked one of the university graduate classes after I went to the presentation about Solavei, this is before we ever launched, and said, how many people do you think you could sign up in 60 days? Somebody would want $49 a month unlimited and all the benefits associated with Solavei. And I remember every hand going up, people saying that they would do it. And I remember this young lady once, she spoke up and said, interested? Gosh, everyone I know is going to want to do this. Everyone I know carries a phone. Everyone I know would love to save money on it. Everyone I know would like to make additional income. And so, the question that I ask them is this: how many people in 60 days? Well, if it's just 3 people, just one trio, we're going to pay you $20 a month, right on that purple pay card. So that $49 a month phone bill is not only costing you $29. If it happens to be 2 trios, 6 people, it's now $40, and that $49 phone bill is not only $9. If it happens to be 3, this is what gets really exciting for us, is because we call that free when you get 3 trios. But that's really where it just begins, because what ends up happening is this network effect. And remember, I told you, we just started with a few people, no billboards, no commercials on TV or on radios, and the voice of the people is where it moved. And now in just a few months, now well over 160,000 people across the United States, because the network effect begins taking over, just like we saw with so many companies like Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest and others. And if just 3 of those people happen to get a trio, you're now getting paid $90 a month. If 6 of those people happen to get a trio, you're now getting paid over $120 a month. And there's so many stories across this country right now. We have something we talk about is, we're going to create millions of thousandaires across the United States and around the world. And I know right there in front of me that I'm looking at with the social there in St. Louis, we've got thousandaires right there. And it's better than hearing it from me just talking. I know I've done a lot of talking. Connie, if you don't mind, maybe tell us, Connie, what is it that's happened to you since you've been a part of Solavei? Are you still with us? There you are.
I'm here, yes. So first of all, we started saving $60 a month on our family's 3 phones. So now we have all that extra money that we're not having to pay taxes on. It's income to us. It's beautiful. And then I started sharing, and most of the people in this room are on my team, which it's the best team ever. I just have to tell you that. And so now it's like I'm earning enough money. It pays for all of our groceries for the month, and by the end of next month, my mortgage is going to be paid for. So thank you.
That is awesome. That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, Scott, I know you're way at the back of the room. Do you mind just telling us real quickly is Scott still with us?
He is.
That is, I got to tell you once again, that is one huge dynamite.
You'll see it.
Scott, tell us what's happened to you.
Well, I brought my son in, and we're talking to charity groups and church groups, and we're talking to all sorts of people that need money. It's worked out really great. We've brought some members of the Spanish-speaking community in with us also, and it's just been a great thing. And all these people that are here, we have 25 people here tonight, and in a couple of weeks, we're going to have to double this, hopefully, for another of these Solavei Socials.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I absolutely love it. Let me read a couple of things that frankly I live for the stories that come in every day, and I'm very proud of them, and because to me this is what it's all about. I feel my whole life, and every scar I've got on my back and every trophy I've got on a wall was all for this moment. And I think so many people that have now come to Solavei said, you know what, this is the first time in my life that I feel like everything is on purpose. And that's the way I feel. When I get up every day, I know my life is on purpose and everything has been for this very moment. And the stories that I get to hear daily, things I see posted on Facebook and the emails that I receive is really underpins that for me. And I'm going to just read you a couple. One, Russ gave one that said, thank you, Solavei. I just got back from my Florida vacation, which you paid for. We get so many of these. I can tell you how many cruises, Disney cruises, how many trips that I've seen that has all been paid for. And people say, gosh, wait a second, I thought this was about mobile service. Well, yeah, that's where it started. But this really was about moving those billions, those millions and billions of dollars to people. And let that be the source, and let that be the place where great benefit was being placed. And here's one today that I shared here internally. to all of our employees. And what I told our employees, I said, every day everyone works really hard here inside of our corporate offices, and we've got, I believe, the greatest employees that any company could have, the smartest people, some of the most successful people that has been in telecommunications, technology, in the financial services industry. I told them, I said, you work hard every day, and it's because of vision of the company. Because to us today, this isn't just about 160,000 people. It's about these 160+ thousand people, but it turning into millions and tens of millions around the world. And I told them, I said, it's because of stories just like this. This is from an individual that said this. I recently won custody of my children and relocated my family to Alabama to start a new life. I work full-time at a local hospital, and then I work on Solavei until about midnight every night. Today was my best day thus far. I enrolled a trio in less than 24 hours. I now have 7 trios, and I'm working very hard. I am soon to be a thousandaire, and I know I'm now going to be able to give my kids a better quality of life. Thanks again for all you do. Solavei has changed the lives of my family. Thank you, Solavei. Guys, that's why I'm here. And it's all because we're all a part of what I believe is a social commerce revolution across this country. Whenever you see points in our history where there's been a change, there's been a shift, that's when a movement happened, and that's ultimately what's taking place with Solavei. And so for so many of you that are watching this tonight across the United States, no matter where you are, whether you're at a home, a beautiful dining room, or you're sitting at an office, or you're at a Starbucks, you're at a restaurant, I know we have them happening everywhere, all across this country. It's really simple. There's 3 things you're going to continue here as you're a part of Solavei. One is get in, and number 2 is get social, and number 3 is get free. And what does the get in mean? Get in means enroll in Solavei. It's as simple as $49 a month, unlimited text, data, voice, 4G nationwide. It's saying yes, sir. There's no enrollment fee. There's no membership fee. It's just you being a part of Solavei and taking advantage of one of the very best 4G nationwide networks in the country. The second is get social. It's exactly what we're doing right now. And these social are taking place every single night across the United States during the week, and they're happening throughout the day. And this is where you can do exactly what we're doing. This is where Jason, you tomorrow can say, listen, you're not going to believe what I saw last night. You're not going to believe what I'm a part of. You got to see this at 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Central. Just watch this for yourself. It's getting social with that. It's that simple. As well as it's going into Outreach Manager, into the platform, putting your first 5, 10, 15 friends and families' names directly in there, clicking share on one of the commercials, and let it doing the sharing for you. And frankly, every day be social about Solavei and about what Solavei is doing for individuals across the United States. And number 3 is get free, because once you get social, you're going to get your first trio, and you're going to start being a part of the economic benefit of Solavei. You keep doing that sharing, you're going to end up getting 3 trios. You're going to be getting free mobile service, but that's really where the world begins inside of Solavei. And here's the thing. This isn't about a month. This isn't about 2 months. This isn't about 3 months. This is about us creating a multi-generational company. And if you look back at the companies that have created great movements and created industries, it wasn't about a moment. It was about what they did to create a shift. And ultimately, that's what we've done inside of Solavei. And bottom line is we've done something incredibly big. We've created the very first social commerce platform, and ultimately today it has created a viral effect across the country. It has spread like wildfire, and it's so funny. I look at this slide, and we talked about this way before we even launched the company, that this was going to spread like wildfire, and to look at us today and see what's happened and see how many people are a part of this and how big and how fast and how strong it grows every single day is really incredible. And so I'm really excited about being a part of this with you tonight. Looking forward to being able to share with you the great tweets, the unique places that Solavei has been shared over the course of the broadcast. Now, before I do that, let me talk again about this weekend. This weekend, we have our Orlando Revolution Regional that's going to be taking place. And we have our top members from across the United States are going to be converging on on Orlando. We are going to have a packed house. We have members from all over Florida, from all over the Southeast that are going to be there, as well as we have a lot flying in from Puerto Rico. We've got guest speakers. We're going to be unveiling some incredible things with Solavei. Not only that, we have our top members that are going to be literally opening up some of their key strategies that's enabled them to build networks now into tens of thousands of people across the United States. It's going to be an incredible time, and there's a lot that we're going to share with everyone there. But you know what we're in the middle of right now is a march to 1 million members, because we're at 1 million members. What we're going to be able to do to be able to drive prices down and be able to then turn and bring over the very best goods and services to you without you having to change anything or do anything. When we offer that to your networks, what ultimately happens? You're the one that benefits. And let me give you a couple of the posts that came in tonight, the tweets that came in tonight of the unique places, and this is where we're going to give away the Get In, Get Social, Get Free shirt. Jay said, I was actually, oh my goodness, I was actually in, I'm just reading this actually for the first time right now, so this is one of the tweets tonight. I was actually in a public restroom after a long flight from New York City. They were interested. Free shirt. Woo! I now have another one that says, I shared Solavei with a person next to me on the plane coming home from the Dallas Regional. AJ said, the most unique place I shared Solavei with is at my chiropractor's office. After he popped my back, we talked about mobile service. These are things that's happening everywhere across the country. But the winner tonight that they picked randomly is from Marcy. She said, the most unique place I shared Solavei with was in my doctor's office getting antibiotics, took my mind off the pain, and the nurse enrolled. You gotta love it. No matter where you go, no matter who you talk to, they're carrying a mobile phone. I want to thank all of you for being a part of this tonight, and Connie, Coach, Scott, for you open up your home, and for all of you who are watching across the United States, thank you for being a part of this evening. I want to thank you for your involvement in Solavei, and more importantly, for being a part of the social commerce revolution and the vision, the mission we have to positively impact millions of people's lives around the world. God bless. Have a good night. I look forward to seeing so many of you in Orlando, Florida this coming weekend. God bless.